Boxing Truth here, back with another video. Let's talk about the middleweight division. There are some desirable fights to be made at 160-pound weight class. You got the very best contender, top contender in the division. You got Jaime Munguia, ranked number 1 by WBO. But just because you're ranked number 1 doesn't mean you're the mandatory. Please remember that, guys. All the rules of the organizations have the same ruling. They choose who's the mandatory. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the number 1 contender. Munguia hasn't shown any interest in fighting Demetrius Andrade. That's why he was passed over. He was given an opportunity, but he decided to go into another direction because he wants other fights. He has other fights on his mind, more exciting fights on his mind, and more bigger fights that they're looking to make for Jaime Munguia in the near future. That's why Liam Williams is the mandatory to Demetrius Andrade, even though he's ranked number 2, because that's the only way he's going to get a title shot. He doesn't have the opportunities that Jaime Munguia is going to get. Munguia is with Golden Boy. He fights in the States. He's a Mexican-based fighter, bigger fan base. They're looking to get as much experience as possible at 160 pounds before they put him in there with a big name in the middleweight division. In his next fight, he's scheduled to fight Toriano Johnson later this month. Solid fight. Johnson, veteran, has been a top contender, ranked in the top 10 in the middleweight division for quite some time. He's been in some good fights, won some, lost some. He's going to lose this fight against Jaime Munguia, most likely get stopped. But it's a good stepping stone fight, little parameter to see where Munguia is at in the middleweight division. I guess he's only had one fight in this division. Stoppage win over a fringe contender in Spike O'Sullivan, and now he's taking a step further in the middleweight division, fighting a former ranked contender in Toriano Johnson. But as you can see here, man, Munguia is high in the rankings, ranked number 2 in the WBC, and he's gunning for that Jermall Charlo fight, man. They're pushing for that Charlo fight. That's one of the fights that they're willing to take, that they want to take. They see some weaknesses in Big Charlo. They see an opponent that can be beat. They don't feel Charlo has enough firepower to keep off a young lion like Jaime Munguia off of him for 12 rounds. Hey, Sergey Derevyanchenko was able to get inside. He was able to make Charlo think. He was able to get him fatigued at one point in that fight. He was able to hurt him to the body. So why not? What makes you think Jaime Munguia won't be able to get inside? He's a much bigger middleweight compared to Sergey Derevyanchenko, and it won't be a huge height disadvantage either. I think Munguia is the same height, the same build. It's an excellent fight. And it's a fight, Golden Boy will take gladly. And it's a fight Jaime Munguia will gladly take. They feel that Charlo's got some chinks in the armor. But those are the 2 fights that Jaime Munguia is gunning, man. He wants Big Charlo or Gennady Golovkin, whichever comes first. And speaking of Golovkin, what the hell's going on with that bomb title defense that he's supposed to fight? That, instead of fighting Canelo a 3rd time, he insisted on fighting some unknown mandatory. That fight's taking forever to get out of the way. Golovkin at 38 still taking these unknown title defenses. Like, what's the fucking point? This is why, I don't have much respect for Golovkin. The so-called feared guy, lights out puncher, and at this stage is facing an unknown mandatory. It's like, what's the point of that, man? Why don't you get back in there with the big names? You're in position to fight big fights. If not Canelo, take on a Charlo or a Jaime Munguia, or a move up in weight. Do something interesting. Outside of fighting Canelo with your career, Gennady Golovkin, Lil G. That's what you really are nowadays. No one cares about you now much anymore anyways. But those are the fights that Munguia is gunning for. Golovkin, an Asian Golovkin, very winnable fight for Munguia. And a Jermall Charlo who is in the pocket, is aggressive, and doesn't have the style nowhere near of a Demetrius Andrade. These are the fights that Jaime Munguia wants. They didn't take the Andrade fight because not a big enough name, not a stylistically great fight. It could end up being a stinker, so that's why they're gunning for these two names. They want either a shot at the WBC champion in Big Charlo, or a shot at an Asian Gennady Golovkin, which will make for much more exciting fights. Munguia is an exciting fighter. Every time he fights, I'm going to watch, and I'd much rather see him fight Big Charlo or Gennady Golovkin than compared to a Demetrius Andrade. Look, Andrade has a fight out there. There's one guy, one elite guy that's calling him out, and that's Billy Joe Saunders. I know, a guy who not many people are lining up to fight because of his style. But why not just have two guys with difficult styles just fight each other and eliminate one of these guys? But there's opponents out there for everybody. Golovkin has dance partners. Big Charlo has a dance partner calling him out. Golovkin has to show more willingness to fight a Jermall Charlo. Charlo's calling him out. Munguia is calling Charlo out. Golovkin still fighting unknown mandatories while he waits for a third Canelo fight still. Andrade has a super middleweight champion calling him out. So there's food for everybody. Let's start making these fights. And you also got Liam Williams calling Demetrius Andrade out. He's the other best contender, top contender in the middleweight division. These two guys are the best contenders in the division, Munguia and Liam Williams. And also you got Murata, and of course you got Chris Eubank too. But Munguia and Liam Williams are the best contenders in the division. They hungry. They want some hardware, and they're gunning for some big fights. Looking forward to Munguia's next fight against Torian Johnson. Should be another fun war to watch. Munguia will stop him, and we'll move on to bigger and better things. But it's looking like Demetrius Andrade will vacate. He'll move up to fight Saunders, most likely. Liam Williams, Munguia can end up fighting for the title. It really depends what opportunities is out there for Munguia. If Charlo steps up to the plate and takes on a Munguia, that will be the first opportunity they will take. But if there's no other bigger opportunity, Munguia, Liam Williams for the WBO strap is very possible in the near future. Because I can see Charlo fighting Chris Eubank first before fighting anybody outside the PBC realm. But yeah, man, the middleweight division is heating up. Murata's still waiting in the wings on a big fight. You got Eubank also waiting for a big fight. And you got Golovkin still trying to fight unknown mandatories and still waiting on an announcement on this bomb fight that has yet to be announced. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.